All right, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm going to talk about jobs that I've done or that I'm going to do and that you can actually do too at home. And I'm going to give you some information and tips and advice I have about those jobs, if you will. Okay, first product of the day, Logic Workbook for Gritty Kids. Let me just give you a preview. Which shadow is correct? Circle the same two pictures. Connect the missing halves. Can you copy it? Baby bear lost his mother. Match the missing part. So they seem to progress in difficulty. I forgot I had this. I forgot I had it. I found it on my shelf today. Okay, so let's talk about job number one. You can breed dogs. Now, if you want to get the most bang for your buck, what you need to bang for your buck. And I'm not talking, don't think that I'm saying it's okay to be a puppy mill. I'm not saying that. I'm telling you that I found a dog that is relatively rare in the area that we're moving to, and I wanted that dog anyway, so that's how I looked. So you go on Kijiji if you're in Canada, you go on Craigslist, you go on Facebook Marketplace, wherever they sell pets, and search for that dog in your area. If you see a lot of people who have a lot of pups available in the area of that puppy, that means you don't want to sell that puppy. So instead, look for breeds that you might want to have and then search for them. Don't worry if you haven't breeded dogs before, because the people who are breeders, at one time, they were new too. Very rarely is there like 6th generation breeders. Now, what I used to do, the first time I needed to make money years ago, one of the things I did, like this was like 15, 20 years ago though, is I would go to a state that had a lot of the Great Danes and then bring them back and sell them locally to another state. Like when they had a lot of puppies that were for sale at a good price, because not everyone cares if they're AKC or CKC certified. Not everyone cares about that. Sometimes you just want a cute Great Dane puppy whose maybe parents were AKC or CKC'd, but they aren't, the little puppies. That's okay because you can sell them at a reduced rate and you still make sure that they still get to go to a good home. Now, I do recall last time getting a little attached to them, so that is the hard part. The other downside to this is you generally don't want to spend your time on things that cost that much money to feed, that eat while you sleep is the general rule. Now, the way to compensate for this is, I have a couple ideas. So we used to have a Great Dane, and the Great Dane got bladder problems. And so he would pee blood all the time. And so what we did is I took him to the vet, and the vet, I don't know if you know this, but they give a lot of people medicine to dogs as well. So they would give him a lot of different antibiotics and it wouldn't kick it. It didn't work. So then I decided, that's it. I'm not gonna feed him dog food from my bag anymore. I said, I'm gonna cook most of his food. So I made like potatoes and carrots, and I would cook like a giant plate of food for him every night. And then on top of that, I would give him protein, of course, on top of that. So whatever chicken was on sale or whatever meat was on sale, plus eggs. I would give him eggs. I could do the eggs raw, just crack them open, or sometimes just give him the eggs with the shells. And I would just put it outside every night, a big one of those Pyrex dish containers. I would feed him this whole thing. Oh, he loved it. And it took about 6 to 8 weeks, but his bladder problem went away. It went away and he had great health after that. So I know that it's possible to do that. So if you get a lot of potatoes, and so we're gonna have an aquaponics garden. And aquaponics is, you can eat the fish, you can eat the plants if you wanted, the whole point is the plants. If you do it a certain way, the aquaponics, in the size of, say, your kitchen, or maybe your kitchen living room might be a better example, about 25 feet, maybe 15, 20 feet, you can get like 900 pounds every 2 weeks with the aquaponics garden, from what I've seen. If you do it a special way, 900 pounds of food. So you get an intense amount of vegetables pretty much year round if you have some lights in the winter. So you get an incredible amount of food, supposedly, and so you can do it that way. So you can get a lot of food from that. You can use oatmeal. I knew people who used to feed their dogs who were very healthy, a lot of oatmeal as well, would make them oatmeal treats and freeze it and feed them that. So the thing is to keep the price down for food for your dogs, but still feed them really healthy. So if you can have a garden somehow, and we're gonna have chickens solely for the eggs to help offset the cost of the dogs. And then we're gonna take a lot of the scraps from our food and feed it to the chickens. Like a lot of my vegetables, we're gonna feed it to the chickens. So it's a cycle, among other things, but I'm just saying it's a cycle of what you do. It's like permaculture. Okay, so that was one idea. The other idea is working at Instacart, because you can choose your own hours. So I think like a few days a week, a few mornings a week, I'm just gonna do I wouldn't mind doing Instacart. I don't mind going to the grocery stores. I don't mind talking to people. I don't mind grocery shopping. I do it. I've done it so freaking often. I guess we all have, that I don't mind doing it. So that's another thing that I would consider, is just doing it, 4 days a week maybe, but just a few hours in the morning. Like when everyone else is still sleeping, I'm an early riser. I am up. Go and do the Instacart from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. or something, or 7 to 10 a.m. a few days a week. Another thing is that you can babysit. Yeah, you can babysit. I mean, obviously you've thought about that. And the last thing is just taking on and writing a book. The thing is you want to do stuff that are passive streams of income, so things you kind of set up and can run for themselves. And if your book is titled correctly, I know because I've done it. I had a book on health anxiety, which is when you're afraid you have someone or someone else, or you're afraid like your kid is sick all the time. So when you have this anxiety, hypochondria is what it used to be called, that you have something wrong with you, I wrote a book on that. But the key is not the book. So you're solving a problem is number one. And number two, you have to title it correctly. You have to, when you put it on Amazon, anything that's on your cover, you can put in the title and subtitle. So when the book is made and when the cover is made, the cover art, which you can get someone from Fiverr to do it for $25 or $30, have them do up a really nice cover, but make sure to include as many keywords in there as possible. So if you were like when I did my health anxiety book, the best thing I could do is just give you an example from that. When I did my health anxiety book, what I did was use the keywords, solving hypochondria, health anxiety, and then a few other keywords. So just consider doing something like that. I know the book takes time. I know it seems overwhelming, but I've made tons and tons of curriculum for adults. And so I kind of use the same model, which is for the first couple days, you walk around with a pad and paper, and anything you want to put in that book. So look from your personal life, a problem you got over, anything you want to put in that book, you just jot it down. Just jot it down, jot it down, jot it down. And then after you do that for like a week, well, then the next stage would be sort of get into chapters. Then the third stage would be extending those little points that you made with like a paragraph or 2 paragraphs or whatever to get the point across. So just basically anything you think that you need to tell someone about that, how you solve that problem. Okay, so those are my ideas, and I don't know, maybe some of them worked for you or helped you. If you need any ideas for your book, like for your book cover or how to title things, I'm pretty good at titling now because I've had to title hundreds and hundreds of different things. So at least it feels that way for years now. So if you need some ideas, you can just email me. And if you need any of the products listed in the video, I have a website that I started up where I'm gonna list all the products, but it's at the very least listed in the description. Thank you and have a great day.
Please subscribe.
Yes.
And hit the bell for notifications.